Alright, boys, it's time. Sorry for the wait there. Tonight's been, well, not the smoothest of nights, but we're here now, so let's not worry about that. We're in the semifinals, or other semifinals, which we were watching for a bit there. That looks like that's going to finish well ahead of this one, so we shouldn't have to wait following this game before we get into our grand finals. But we've got, oh boy, we've got a game ahead of us.
10 seconds remaining.
They're playing by the name Gonads Barbarians in game, but we saw them last game playing with the name Mysterious Legends, and they put on a clinic. They went with a pretty unorthodox draft, and well, they just made it work, and they stomped their opponents. So we're looking to see if they're going to be able to do that again this game, but they're going up a pretty formidable opponent. Penguin Massacre is their name in the brackets, and I love penguins, and it pains me to hear that name, but
Radiant team
yeah, I think everyone. I don't know. I don't know the MMR for Hora, but I think everyone on that team is 6K plus. So, yeah. Of course, Ink Dota, known for his Meepo. It got banned out first, but I'll get into that in a second. Bacon used to.
10 seconds remaining.
Used to be on a team that we used as scrim partners. We used to play against them all the time. We even stood in for his team a few times. And he was offlaning then. He's been playing a lot of mid recently. I'm not sure what he's going to be playing tonight with these guys. But yeah, he's a pretty awesome player. Pretty awesome dude as well. And he's not live right now, but I went and checked out twitch.tv/DoryTV. So definitely hit that guy up with a follow and check him out sometime to enjoy his stream. But yeah, let's catch up to where we are in the draft. Once again, guys, Semi-Pro Cup Series semifinals. There's no money on the line tonight, but it should be fun. I'm Niz, and let's hop into it. So like I said, Meepo getting banned out immediately. The respect ban for Ink Dota.
Dire team ban.
360 Poofit is always in his name. Hashtag 360 Poofit. You won't see it now because he's using his official name, but yeah, then we've got Doom also getting banned out. No surprise. Keep that hero banned. We've got Slaughter and Dazzle both getting banned out. So Dazzle now making his way up to those top bans. Then the picks. Tusk first pick, followed by an Earthshaker and Winter Wyvern. Then an Undying. So the Radiant side snagging that Undying and Tusk. Not giving it to Mysterious Legends this time around. We're going to see if they can, what they're going to do to that. And then we see a Night Stalker getting banned out. So respecting the performance that Zoro had last game on that Midnight Stalker as it gets removed. Spectre and now Alchemist, two pretty beefy carries. And well, if we've played pubs recently, we all know the Alchemist.
10 seconds
which surprisingly I haven't seen too much of it recently. It's kind of fallen off a little bit.
5
Last one I saw,
remaining.
I kind of well, I was playing Roaming Earthshaker, and he didn't have a good game. He commended me in the end.
Time.
Because of how many times I killed him mid. But yeah, I actually haven't seen too much Alchemist recently in pubs, but he's definitely still around and competitive, and he gets banned out here. And now Anti-Mage getting banned out, so big carries getting banned out of this pool. But we got Earthshaker and Winter Wyvern already for this Dire side, so two pretty strong support. Could be an Earthshaker off lane, but I think that's kind of gone away. I don't think we're going to see that too much anymore. It's kind of shifted out of the meta, I guess. But yeah, we've got Winter Wyvern, very strong defensive support. Of course, he does have some offensive capabilities, but primarily in the early game, very defensive. Even going on later on, defensive, but Winter's Curse can be used a little bit more offensively. Once he gets his Splinter Blast really leveled up, he can start doing a lot of damage in fights as well. But primarily a defensive support. Earthshaker, much more aggressive. He can do a lot of roaming around. Also, just the fact that he can fissure from so damn far away makes it potentially possible to open up on a mid hero without going for kind of a wraparound kind of play. Of course, if you can do that, you can get the fissure block so they can't back. But you can always just run straight down the lane, just fissure right away before they get vision. So Earthshaker is going to be a lot of potential plays, aggressive plays coming up from him early on.
10 seconds remaining.
But now they're going to add a Gyrocopter. Expect that to be in the safe lane with Winter Wyvern. Of course, if there's any kind of aggressive lane coming out with the Tusk and Undying, then we could see the Earthshaker up there, getting the fissure block off, separating someone from their team, and then the gyrocopter is going to be able to step up and do so much damage with the rocket barrage and potentially bring one of them down. But either way, Earthshaker, both good aggressively, but he can be very strong defensively in this tri-lane. Now Wind Ranger is going to get picked up, as, well, we see that hero played so much in the mid lane and expect it to be there this game as well, although it didn't get played mid last game. But I expect that to be where that Wind Ranger is going to call home for this game. As we wait the fourth pick here
5 seconds remaining
for our dire side heroes.
Reserve time.
Queen of Pain, alright. We saw that get banned out in the first round last game. Making its way all the way to the 7th pick of the game. But that's where they're going to choose to pick to go up against the Wind Ranger. So they're just most likely looking to finish out their roster with an offlaner. As for the Radiant side, well, we don't know. It's most likely a support and a carry. But I guess it could be
10 seconds remaining.
An offlaner and a carry. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it could be something like that. I guess it could be 2 supports as well. But we're talking about really crazy stuff if they start going with anything like that. But that should probably be a support and a hard carry here. I expect the support to get picked up now. I'm not sure what their plans are with the Tusk or the Undying, so I can't really predict too much what they're going to pick here. They do have some... Undying's kind of a tricky one. He's both offensive and defensive. Tusk is kind of the same as well, although Tusk kind of fits a little bit more into the offensive stuff. His defensive aspect with grabbing someone in a snowball comes into play a little bit later on in the game. So it's hard to say what they'd want to pair that up with. A good strong range disable would be ideal. Is Witch Doctor going to give you that? I'm not sure. I guess it's a potential. Yeah, it's hard. I'm just kind of theory crafting here while staying
10 seconds
very
remaining.
flexible in how they want to do it. Yeah, so they don't go with that at all. They go with the Sand King instead.
Ban.
So what that could mean is they said, okay, we're not too scared about what you potentially have coming out here. We're going to pick up a Sand King and throw him in the jungle.
10 seconds remaining.
And go really greedy. Put someone in the off lane. Tusk
5
or Undying.
seconds remaining.
And make it difficult for you to really punish our Sand King jungle. Or they could potentially be running the Sand King in the off lane and bring another hero with it. They could even go aggro with it. I don't like it. I think it's a little bit too risky, but there are options there. Going Sand King jungle is pretty bold, but I think it's probably the safest here. The thing is if they go with like a Tusk Undying offlane, and then they go Sand King jungle, that's going to tie up the Earthshaker. They're not going to feel too comfortable just leaving the Gyrocopter or Winter Wyvern alone with the Earthshaker moving around, because the Tusk Undying can always go really aggressive on either of those 2 heroes, and then they could quickly find themselves in trouble. And then the Earthshaker is going to kind of come out.
Radiant team ban.
And we see the final ban there, the Ember Spirit. That would be part of what I was kind of hinting at there with the Tusk Undying going off lane, the Sand King sitting in the jungle, but he can still pop out of the jungle, which is always something to be scared about. But you're looking at something like an Ember Spirit that would be able to sustain himself quite well against a solo
5
offlaner.
seconds remaining.
So that's why they banned that out. Now they're going to ban out the
Dire
Broodmother,
team
which
pick.
would give him quite a bit of trouble if they were to just put a hard carry by himself. Of course, they do have an easy answer with the Sand King, but in terms of how it's going to work out in the lanes, it would not be ideal for them. Their carry would be in a lot of trouble. There is the potential of them not liking what the offlaner is going to be here. and putting the Wind Ranger in the safe lane and picking something else to go mid
10
against the Queen of
seconds
Pain.
remaining.
I'm not sure what situation will create that, but
5
that is a
seconds
potential.
remaining.
But either way, the Radiant side here has the luxury of seeing what the
Reserve
final
time.
pick's going to be.
Clockwork.
And it's going to be a Clockwork.
Radiant team pick.
I mean, Slark immediately comes to mind. Is that... Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of heroes you could potentially go here up against the Clockwork and not
10
really feel
seconds
too
remaining.
threatened. Clock is pretty strong 1v1, but there's a lot of carries
5
in the current meta
seconds
that just
remaining.
kind of destroy him. Yeah, they're going to go with Razor. That's another one that... What is Clock going to do? Like, Razor just links him and then runs at him and... Oh well. What are you going to do? Couple disconnects, reconnects, all that fun stuff. But yeah, so I think that's what we're going to expect to see. The Razor in the safe lane going up against the Clockwork. Probably have the Sand King park himself in the jungle. Kind of go with a more greedier lineup or setup there. Tusk Undying in the off lane. And then the Wind Ranger in the mid lane. As for our Dire side heroes, Clock off lane. Queen of Pain mid. And then the Gyrocopter, Earthshaker, and Winter Wyvern in the safe lane. We got some shoutouts in my chat. Jerson King says, "Hi, Mammon." Mammon? Sorry, I'm butchering that. He says hi, and then we see in game, "Hi, Jerson." Whoops. The shoutouts are going back and forth. But ready when you are. We scrimmed against you guys, right? Oh, okay. Don't know. I don't think so. Oh. Oh well. Either way, we should be set to go here in just a second. Just took a quick look. Doesn't look like the other semifinal is finished just yet. I can't tell you the result of that one. What are we waiting on here? Still waiting on someone on the Dire side. So how do we expect this game is going to play out? Like I said, I think the dueling coming out from the Radiant side is really going to tie up that Earthshaker, which should mean the Wind Ranger is going to have an alright time mid against the Quap. And I think the bottom lane's already an easy win for the Razor over the Clock. And Sand King being greedy in the jungle could give them a lot of possibilities, or a lot of strength, but it looks like they may actually not even put the Sand King down there. Interesting. Well, let's introduce the teams and the players before we get too much into theory crafting it out. On the Radiant side, we've got Penguin Massacre playing for them. We've got Ink Dota playing the Razor. We've got Bacon is Beast playing the Wind Ranger. We got Jordan the Jet playing the Tusk. Dory TV playing the Undying. And Hora is going to be playing the Sand King. Unfortunately, we're going to have another pause here. But that gives us time to cover our Dire side. They are the Mysterious Legends. I have no idea what name they were going by in game. I forgot already. But we've got MMNS or MM. Oh God, I screwed this up the first game. I'm screwing it up again. MMN Sabrina playing the Earthshaker. We've got Zoro, who had an incredible game last game on the Night Stalker. He's going to be playing the Gyrocopter. VN Dragon's going to be on the Winter Wyvern. And we've got a couple other heroes that we'll have to get to in just a second, as Earthshaker's found himself in a whole lot of trouble. As this is going to be our first blood. Question is, who's going to get it? It's going to go to Ink Dota on the Razor. Let's continue to cover our Dire side heroes. We got Purple Rain. He's actually standing. He wasn't in the last game. He's going to be playing the Queen of Pain. And who did I forget? The Clockwork. Seven is going to be playing the Clockwork. Alright, looks
The
like we
battle
got
begins.
bounty rune for each mid-hero, so nothing too unusual there.
Tribute.
First observer ward goes down. It's going to block up the pull camp, but not magic ward, not magic bush, so it won't block this camp. Magic bush, of course, refers to this little bush right here. And looks like our lanes are starting to form up. So it's going to be the Razor down here against the clock as predicted. Sand King's down here, so expect him to be in the jungle, although he did have to pick up Burrow Strike, so he's going to have to go sit in the bottom lane until he hits 2. Wind Ranger, mid against the Queen of Pain, so everything as we expected. Undying, maybe a little bit lost trying to find his way up to the top lane, where he's going to be with Tusk, up against the Gyrocopter, Earthshaker, and Winter Wyvern. But I think the Undying is just going to go ward, so... Did our Sand King already get 2? Nope, not yet. He's trying to find the observer ward. His sentry actually does spot it, but he hasn't popped out to the other side to get vision to spot it out there. But he'll find it in just a second as he goes around. Oh no, he's given up. No, it's so close. Please. There we go. He's found it. Did he? Maybe. Uh-oh. Apparently not. Okay, well, we're just going to let Hora struggle to find that observer ward in just a second, but he's not going to waste any more time as Ink has already got the drain off on 7 there, but unfortunately he walked into the cogs, which both pushed him back and drained all his mana. Fortunately enough for him, Static Link, only 50 mana cost, so he'll be able to Static Link pretty consistently in the bottom lane. Let's see how our other lanes are going so far. Bacon seems to be winning in the mid lane. 9-4 CS for the Wind Ranger versus 4-1 for the Queen of Pain. So the Wind Ranger winning out there in the mid lane so far. That lane kind of comes back to the Queen of Pain a little bit.
Damage.
As they get a little bit more levels under their belt. Fissure comes out, doesn't trap Jordan the Jet, but he will take a good amount of damage. But he's got a healing salve, so he'll bring himself back up to full HP. But this is what I was talking about keeping the Earthshaker up here. And, oh, well, they're actually going to go aggressive here. They see a potential weakness here. They're going to try to go onto Zoro, but there is the Cold Embrace coming up from the Winter Wyvern. I was screwing up the name of that ability last week, but I seem to have gotten it this time around. As Dory's taking a lot of damage, so is Jordan the Jet. They're going to turn around. This is pretty manly, but it is going to be the Tusk that's going to go down first. There's another Cold Embrace as Zoro gets saved once again. We had a Fissure blocking off, unfortunately, the Earthshaker, so he fissured himself off, and that did allow them to get the kill on the Undying, but the Earthshaker went down as well. So 2 kills go the way of this defensive tri-lane, but they do find 1 themselves. But the point I was trying to make is that this aggressive duel lane actually doesn't really have to get too much done. It was all about keeping that Earthshaker up there. And if you keep that Earthshaker up there, you're not able to punish this Wind Ranger early on, so the Wind Ranger gets that early lead that I was just talking about against the Queen of Pain. If you kind of stunt the Wind Ranger's growth and keep the Queen of Pain with her early on in the early levels, as Queen gets stronger, as she gets a little bit more levels, then then she's going to be even stronger relative to the Wind Ranger than she would be if the Earthshaker wasn't there just kind of harassing. And this is what happens when you've got a lot of heroes fighting each other in one of the lanes. You don't have movement around picking up runes, so we've got a bounty rune just kind of sitting there. He's baking in a man fight here with Purple Rain, and he had Wind Run, and he's actually going to tick out. No, he's not. He was going to tick out from the Shadow Strike. Hora was actually going to get the deny off there, but great rocket coming in there from 7, sniping the kill on the Wind Ranger. Bacon still leading the lead. Leading in terms of CS, 18-5. Hora's still actually sitting at level 2. Didn't even make too much note of that. We constantly see sentry wards coming out here in the top lane. Constantly warding, dewarding each other. Or once again pops out of the jungle, tries to go on Purple Rain there, but the blink was fast enough. As Hora's going to keep stacking the jungle camps. Going to stack probably the hardest camp camp to stack in the game. And unfortunately, he's going to miss it. Jordan the Jet gets stunned up by the fissure, dropping down to 29 HP. But there's no follow-up. Got one stack here. What's going on the bottom? We do have some action here as Ink getting some pressure applied to him by this Clockwork. He's once again no mana left, but he's got magic wand charges, and that pretty much means that he can pop that at any moment and get a static link off. He's also sitting at 1,400 gold, so it looks like he's going to be going for a Midas as his first item, whereas Seven's gone for a little bit more of the fighting kind of items early on. And of course, he's a Clockwork. He's expected to. Yeah, Ink 50 gold away from getting that Midas, so expect that Midas recipe. Sorry, the Midas recipe, not the full Midas. He's still going to need another 500 gold on top of that. But yeah, that's going to allow him to scale a little bit further into the game. 7, getting that bottom rune. It's going to be a regen bounty rune going to the Queen of Pain. So the Dire side getting both runes here, as this game's still pretty much anyone's game so far. The aggressive dual lane not exactly going as planned for the Radiant side. Mid, I mean, I think it's going as planned. Wind Ranger dominating the lane, maybe even a little bit more than they anticipated. Bottom lane, I think they expected Ink to win this lane a little bit harder than he is right now. And I think they expected Hora to maybe get a little bit more out of the jungle, but it's still working out okay for them. And there we go, the aggro dual lane getting it done. As they're going to drop the Gyrocopter, Zoro takes a fall. As VN Dragon was down in the bottom lane, that meant he wasn't up there up top to save the Gyro. And I wonder if the Radiant side knew that. They must have known that the Winter Wyvern was there, and that's why they went aggressively. And now, nice rotation from them as they just hop into the jungle. They find Hora. Hookshot comes out from 7, and that's a dead Sand King. Here's what kind of... What? There we go. Here comes the aggression. As the Queen of Pain's going to be jumping out. I was checking to see if she had enough mana. She doesn't. Still, 250 for the Sonic Wave. And that means she's going to back. But she does have enough with the Magic Stick charge after a few spells were cast there. She got a few charges, but they choose just to back away. Maybe she could have gotten the kill onto Bacon there. But they'll just surrender their Clockwork and back away. This one's still very much anyone's game. As Ink actually not going Midas. He buys shreds. What does he have flying out right now? A whole bunch of stuff. As looks like that's going to be a Ring of Aquila, I think it was. Almost a Ring of Aquila. He's going to need the Sages. And the rest is for Bacon. It's just completing his, or upgrading his stick. Speaking of Bacon, Purple Rain's going to walk right uphill into him, and they were setting up a kill there on the Queen of Pain. The timing just didn't line up for Hora to get there to stun up the Queen of Pain, and she just blew up the Wind Ranger. And now Purple Rain, with that Invis rune, will... Well, he'll actually just expel it by blinking to the mid lane, and now he's just going to bottle up. Bacon early on having that CS lead, but like I said, this lane comes back to the Queen of Pain, and with a little help from his teammates, he's making it happen. And 7 not letting this jungle be free farm for the Sand King, as he knows that this Sand King is going to rotate right into him. He's going to stand up on the high ground, pop the battery assault, and that exactly does that. So if he's able to start up on the high ground and walk on top of that Sand King, that means he's able to open up on him without using Hookshot. And Hora dropping incredibly low, but I don't think anything's going to happen between those two heroes. As Bacon is now going to try to go after Purple Rain, but he's juked into the jungle, and he's going to be okay there. Missed a little rotation there coming out from Ink as he TP'd up to the top lane and managed to get some kills in that top lane. As both the Earthshaker and the Winter Wyvern both went down there, so maybe that was the fight we should have taken a look at instead of the fight going on around the mid lane. Couple items coming out now as the urn gets picked up by the Clockwork. They're not really a lot of players' favorite item to go on the Clockwork. I see a lot of players just kind of skip it, but choosing to pick it up here. Expecting to be a lot of fights, and Urn is great for sustain. It also helps secure some of those kills too.
Denied.
There's what we got action up at the top rune as Bacon was going for the regen. Purple Rain just blinks on in and takes it. But maybe that wasn't the wisest choice. He knew he had VN Dragon with him, but Jordan the Jet was cutting off his retreat path. And they might actually find another kill here onto VN Dragon. Do they have another Ice Shards? 1 second. It's not going to matter. Bacon just has the right clicks to finish him off. Now Zoro walks in. Oh no, this is definitely a mistake here. As he's just walking in. This is unfortunately just a feed. The fissure will stun the two heroes inside the call down, but they weren't low enough for that second hit from the call down to finish them off. And Penguin Massacre brings this game back a little bit. See how much gold they got as a result of that 1,800, almost 1,900 gold swing just for those 3 hero pickoffs. But 7, he's been making some plays this game as he's going to dive past the tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I'm sure there's plenty of other things that rhyme with that would have been more fitting than sour in that moment, but yeah, now Ink sitting on no mana, does have those 7 magic wand charges, and it's important to note that he is keeping an enchanted mango on him, so he can always pop that for more mana. He pops a stick, won't pop the mango, but he's going to go down here. Hora will get the stun off, and 7 sitting under tower, getting hit by the tower and the sandstorm, while VN Dragon had frozen him with the cold embrace, and I think that was actually doing more harm than good, as we had action up in the top lane as Dory gets a kill on the Earthshaker, but now Purple Rain comes and TP's on in with the revenge kill, not TP's blinks, excuse me. And now 7 messing around the Roche pit, waiting for the bottom rune, but Bacon's here for it, and they will kind of man fight each other for it, but Bacon's going to get the kill, and we'll get the rune in just a second. There we go, bounty rune for him. Purple Rain got the tops, double damage. As we'll switch on over. Still doesn't work. Valve, please. As we'll switch over to net worth and see how it all shakes down for everyone in the game. We got Bacon still leading the way.
Denied.
Despite the fact that this Queen of Pain started to have a little bit more impact on the game. Bacon sitting at 2, 2, and 3. The Quap.
Radiant
2, 1, and 1. Purple Rain, I mean, doing a pretty good job, but it's actually Bacon who has had a larger impact on the game. Quite surprising. I feel like the Quap is all over the place.
Bottom tower is under attack.
But either way, Bacon is leading the way in net worth, 5.3k. Then we've got Ink at 4.7k. Then it's Purple Rain at 4.4. Then we've got Zoro on the Gyrocopter,
Dire's middle tower
just
is
about
under
hitting
attack.
4k. And then it's 7 on the Clockwork at 3.9. Speaking of 7, he's got an Earthshaker with him. Sabrina. They're going to look for a kill here on Ink in the bottom lane. Don't think that Earthshaker is shown. No, he didn't. So they're going to look for a kill on Ink, but Ink kind of knows what's up, despite the fact that he doesn't have vision. And now we've got action in the top lane. Maybe Ink was thinking of TPing on up here. The Earthshaker did, but we're going to lose Zoro to start everything off. Hora is now going to go down as well, so it is a 1-for-1 trade, but they did lose their carry. Now they're going to lose their Winter Wyvern. 7 wants to go in, can't hookshot because there's too many damn zombies, but he's going to get a Hogs off anyways, and that's going to allow him to get the kill on the Tusk as Purple Rain comes in from behind, throws the Sonic Wave off, deals a ton of damage to a bunch of heroes. And now Bacon's going to be the next casualty as he's going to go down. We also lost the Tusk a little bit above this team fight as he was finished off by, okay, it was 7 who did get the kill. But a lot of action starting to shape up in this game as we have 26 kills in 14 minutes. My goodness. Now we might have another as Ink was going for the tower. Zoro TP's in while hiding in the trees. And now he's going to chase Ink all the way back to the tower. This is pretty aggressive. But we won't actually see a kill. Now we're going to have the Tusk snowballing forward. Throw out the ice shards. Hora's there with the stun. And they will find the kill.
Top tower is under attack.
Hora's now up to level 9, so he's got that full length burrow strike. He's also got the full length full level Sandstorm. He's got his blink, he's got his epicenter. We'll be looking at getting 11 next for that next epicenter, and then I'll start
Dire's middle
being a
tower
lot
is
more
under
active
attack.
with that on the map. But he's already been pretty active coming out of the jungle, getting a lot of stuns, leading the way. We're gonna have a TP in here from Dory. Yeah, I think they heard that because they're definitely backing away here. They know what's up. The Invis Tusk is going to try to wrap around behind them, but they've already completely backed. He's going to see the gyrocopter back at the tower. They don't know that VN Dragon's off to the side. VN Dragon actually has Dust of Appearance, but they don't know that this Tusk is Invis. They had no vision of the bottom rune. And Queen of Pain just walked over. She actually didn't get close enough to spot that it wasn't there. This observer ward for them is actually giving them a lot of information. Although it's not spotting out the Tusk, it's spotting out the movements from the Radiant side, and it's kind of telling that something's up here. But, they definitely are looking like they want to fight. And, well, fight they will as Snowball comes out from Jordan the Jet, and maybe they're second-guessing themselves as they're quickly going to run away after the snowball doesn't land. But Purple Rain is going to jump onto Bacon, get some good damage in on him. Actually has an empty bottle right now, so that damage is damage that's going to last for a bit. Bacon will take the time just to do a little bit of jungling. He does have 11 charges on his magic wand, so that'll bring him back to full whenever he pops that. Here's Snowball. Where's the Snowball? Oh, it's just in the jungle. It's just like, what? They're going on the Queen of Pain? Where is this? But not the case. Let's bring up the items and see where we all stand. We've got Hand of Midas for Ink. He did eventually go for that. Then he's also got an Ogre Club. Is that an Aghanims? Is it a BKB? Not sure just yet. Bacon almost in his Aghanims. As he's 600 away from finishing that. Looks like we're going to have mid-tier 1 tower going down. Dire's not going to come and defend that. They might choose to push bottom. But we've got Blink Dagger on Hora, who won't be able to use it as they've managed to catch him, and they will use the Winter's Curse. Actually going to Fissure him as well. Fissure not entirely necessary, but they will get the kill. And I think this is a delayed push, but it is eventually going to come, and I don't think the Radiant side's going to look to defend.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So yeah, this tier 1 tower in the bottom lane is going to go down. We did just have an Aghanim Scepter finished by the Queen of Pain, so both mid laners will have their Aghanims and ready to fight. What's Earthshaker blink timing looking like? 1500 gold right now, so he's getting close. Level 9. It's really weird how we almost always see Earthshakers pick it up around level 10. Get enough for their blink. Seven's managed to finish his Blade Mail. Already mentioned the Aghanims. What does Zoro have? Robe of the Magi. Looks like he actually is going to complete drums here. And there we go. Bacon just finishing his Aghanims. Now Tusk getting his mech, so they're probably going to look to fight a little bit more here. Our Undying half. Just Arcanes. So it's a Sand, okay, so it's going to be an S and Y for the Razor. A lot of movement coming out from either team. I don't know if they're trying to find anyone on the other side or avoiding or what, but they're rotating away from each other constantly. And Dragon doing a little bit of counter warding there. That drum's getting finished by the gyro. Pings have come out for this top tier 1 tower. I don't think the push is happening now though. They do have this lane ward on the Dire side. Spot out any kind of movements coming out from the Radiant preparing to push that tower. Now we'll have a 4-man smoke. Well, they're going to try to go up into the Dire jungle, and they're going to run right into V and Dragon. And that's a quick and easy kill for them. Not really the target that they were hoping for. Obviously, they want to try to get a pick off on one of the cores. Primarily, the gyrocopter was going to be their goal there.
Is under attack.
But they'll take a kill. A kill's a kill. It's better than not getting a kill with the smoke. This game's settling down a little bit. We were at 26 kills in 14 minutes, I think. Now we're only at 29 kills in 20 and a half minutes. So the game's settling down a little bit. Both teams respecting the fact that pickoffs now are a lot more
Dire's top tower
punishing.
is under attack.
If you get one, maybe even two heroes picked off, you're pretty much losing a tower behind that. Speaking of towers, we got a battle here for the top tier 1. Zoro with a very aggressive TP, well ahead of his team, but will they be able to keep him alive? They kept him alive long enough to get a kill onto Hora, but eventually he will go down. Then the Earthshaker comes in with a huge echo. Does get him enough gold to buy his Blink Dagger after the fact. But this Radiant side just got blown up. They did have to sacrifice their gyrocopter to do it, but it's a 5-man team wipe going the way of Mysterious. Mysterious what? What is their name? I keep forgetting. Mysterious Legends. There we go. Let's take a quick look at our show fight recap. That's a pretty big gold swing. 2,900 gold. Speaking of which, let's take a look at our gold graph, see where we stand. It's going to take a little bit of time to update here. But yeah, we're pretty damn close. This is a pretty even game, and it's felt like that so far. The kill totals, it's even as you can get, 18 to 18. What's our XP looking like? Just about 0 as well. So this game, still anyone's game. I've seen the net worth change a little bit in terms of who's leading for each side, but this is really anyone's game, and I'm not sure who it favors. I'm really not sure. We had a quick little disconnect there and a reconnect. I'm going to take a quick second to take a little sip of water, and hopefully we'll be back in just a second and keep going with this. It's a great game that we're watching so far.
Do it with flair.
Alright, we're back.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That was an absolutely huge fight for the Dire side. I mentioned that the Blink Dagger got picked up by the Earthshaker as a result of the gold he was able to pick up. He actually bought the Blink Dagger after he died, so he got more than enough gold to buy his Blink Dagger, and Winter Wyvern also picking up a Blink Dagger afterwards as well. Smoke coming up from the Radiant side. Looks like it's just the two heroes. The Sand King and the Undying smoked up. Looking to potentially go on in the mid lane. And Bacon, they're instead going to go on him instead. And now here comes the counter engage as Hora jumps in with a nice bro strike, stunning up 2, and that's going to get them 2 kills. In fact, both go to Hora as well. The Sand King laughs maniacally there. Jesus. But will they look to push the tier 2 here? It looks like they will. They've got 5 very healthy heroes going up against 3.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, Dire will just back away. Purple Rain's going to go all the way up to top to farm. Maybe he'll even just farm in the jungle. Nope, it's going all the way to top. Sabrina was kind of hanging around mid, but yeah, definitely not worth the engage, especially without Echo. We got 15 seconds left on Echo cooldown. So they really didn't have much to fight there, and there's really no point 7 jumping on in on the clockwork. He could force staff himself back out, but what's the point? What's the risk? You lost to 2 heroes in the mid lane. You were going aggressive. It didn't work out for you. You just kind of got to cut your losses and accept the fact that you're going to lose a tower. But this is what happens. People respawn and then you regroup and you start to bring the fight back to your opponent. And we've got a 4-man smoke here coming out for the Dire side. Well, they're going to where the heroes are, but this is going to be a bigger fight than I think they're anticipating. as it's going to be a 4v5 or 3v5 in their favor. But this is a very spread out fight. Purple Rain going kind of low. Jordan the Jet getting stuck, but we're going to look away from that as Dory's going to be the first one to fall. He's going to buy back on the Undying, TP to the top. Tier 2 and start getting back into the fight as Hora's going to go down. Ink getting a drain off, but not as long as he'd anticipate as he'd like. Purple Rain going very low to Jordan the Jet, but not enough to finish him off. Instead, Jordan's going to try to go on Zoro, but there comes the Echo Slam coming up from Sabrina, but it's not what they wanted. Sabrina gets shackled and the VN Dragon gets sniped by a power shot as both those heroes go down, and now the Dire side, they're on the run. 7 is getting chased down by Rager, zapping him with the lightning. Power shot a little bit off the mark, but 7, he will get away with the cogs. And that's actually only 2 deaths for the Dire side. And that's actually going to work out favorably for them with the buyback. 2 for 2 trade plus a buyback on Undying. It's not the biggest gold swing, only 400 gold going their way, but it's a gold swing nonetheless. It's actually closer to about 300 gold swing when you factor in the smoke. But this game's still incredibly close. I'm not much of a betting man. Certainly don't bet on Dota. I don't put my rares on the line, or my Arcanas, or my Bugattis. But even in this position right now, I'm not sure if I'd want to bet on one team over the other. My goodness, the pings. Oh, Bacon. Wow. Throws the shackle. VN Dragon blinks away, but still shackles into a tree. And here we go. Snowball forward from Jordan the Jet. Great cogs placement from 7. And they actually put the tombstone right in the middle. Nice synergy there, but they will lose 2 heroes. It's the Clock and the Winter Wyvern. The Sand King does go down, and ooh, right before the TP was finishing, Purple Rain gets finished off by Ink. The Radiant side edging ahead in that team fight. 2100 gold going their way. Echo Slam was available, but once again, you just don't have enough heroes alive to really engage on that, so just back away, save the Echo for the next team fight. And hopefully you're on the winning side, and then you can take a tower on the back of it.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Let's take a quick rundown of our items, actually. Ink with the S and Y has since picked up another Ogre Club, so that Midas getting him a ton of items. Bacon, we saw him use his Blink Dagger to set up that shackle. And he's gotten an Aghanims, and now he's also picked up an Ogre Club, so I'm guessing BKB, probably going to be his next item. Dory, well, haven't really seen too much item progression just yet, but Point Booster is going to be added on for him, so Aghanim is... it's a long ways away, but it's on the way. Aura looks like it's going to be a 4-staff for him. And Jordan the Jet, what do you got? You've got a mech and an Ogre Club. Could be a lot of different things. He is sitting at almost 2,000 gold. For Dire side, we got Sabrina, Blink Dagger. What more does an Earthshaker need? So he's perfectly fine with that. Doing a lot more of the supporting stuff. Maybe helping the Winter Wyvern get a few more items under his belt. Well, you know, he's got his Blink Dagger. He doesn't really need too much either. We're going to see a Winter's Curse come out here on Ink Dota. He'll BKB after it, and Hora comes in with the Epicenter. That's a dead bird. And now Sabrina's on the run on the Earthshaker. He's going to be finished off in just a second. Jordan the Jet, he's not done. He's going after more. 7 almost goes down. Hook shots away to Purple Rain, but they do manage to still catch him. Purple Rain now blinks away. Will they be able to catch her? Bacon blinks forward, finishes her off with the right click. And that's 4 heroes picked off and dead. The only one left alive is Zoro on the gyrocopter, who's all the way back in the fountain. And now he'll desperately try to defend them off for as long as he can. He'll use the call down, but what more does the gyrocopter really have? He can flak, but you got to get close enough to flak, to attack something for the flak to hit. And I don't think it's worth the
Dire's
risk here.
middle
They just have to,
barracks are under
once again,
attack.
cut your losses, lose the racks. And
Dire's middle barracks
first set of racks
has
will
fallen.
go down. Actually, just the melee racks, not the range. They won't stick around long enough for that because they've got Roshan on their mind, I think. Yeah, there we go. The pings are coming out from the Dire side. They recognize the fact as well. And they're actually going to back away. They immediately recognize the fact that Dire's coming. They're probably not going to be able to bring it down in time. You think of the damage coming out for them in terms of carries. They've got Razor, and you can't really static link Roshan to steal all his damage and amplify your damage. So that means your Razor's not going to be doing too much damage. Your other supports don't really do too much right click. Your Wind Ranger does an incredible amount of right click, but it's not going to be enough to bring down the Roshan in time before the Dire side got there. So they backed away smartly. And does this see? I think it does. Oh, we got action in the mid lane as I hear a shackle lands on Zoro, but he's going to get dropped into the cold embrace. And now Bacon with the BKB pop won't take any damage from the call down there. In fact, Zoro is the first to fall, but now Bacon's stuck in the middle of Cogs. No BKB left anymore, but Hora blinks on in. Will he be able to keep him alive with the Burrow Strike? Not enough. Purple Rain blinked forward, but it's going to sacrifice himself for the cause. As all 5 heroes are dead on the Dire side. GG will actually get called by 7. As well, it was so close for so long. The last couple team fights blew it wide open for the Radiant side. That was a great game. That was a lot of back and forth. That was a fun game to cast. I look forward to what we've got in the grand finals coming up in just a minute, but that was a fun game. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was, I don't know, it was really fun for me to cast. I know that. But we saw some good plays all around. We saw some, I mean, the lanes pretty much played out how we expected in terms of where they went. And we saw, once again, not a super different draft than we're used to seeing coming up from the Dire side. Not like they played last game, but they made some pretty damn good plays, and they were going up a pretty strong team as well. Like I said, everyone on the Radiant side, I believe, is 6K plus, so they definitely have the individual talent, and they definitely gave them a run for their money. I'm not sure the MMRs on the Dire side, but they played quite well. But either way, the Penguin Massacre will advance to the grand finals. We'll have that game coming up in just a minute. Once again, guys, I'm Niz. You're watching NizCast. Make sure you hit me up with a follow. I cast SCS every Sunday night, so you can always tune in any Sunday to check out some great amateur games in the North American scene. Like I said, SCS, Semi-Pro Cup Series, that's what we're casting. And we will have the grand finals coming up in just a minute, so don't go anywhere. Stay with us, and we'll have that game for you.